This video is sponsored by LearnSQL.com. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Vivian and I'm a data scientist working and living in Sydney, Australia. I hope you are going well. If you've watched any of my past videos, you've probably heard me go on and on about how important SQL is to any data related role. Not only do we do most of our data wrangling and preparation in SQL, any technical interview is most likely going to contain a SQL component. It is honestly so underrated and is the one thing that I would recommend everyone learn regardless of what profession you work in, whether that's consulting, marketing or product, as data is literally everywhere these days. So I've been using SQL almost every day for the past 6 years, and I have made my fair share of coding mistakes along the way. So today I'm going to share the things that I wish I had implemented earlier on in my code that would have saved me countless hours and frustration with debugging and code handovers. Just the other day at work, I was going through some of my code that I had productionized when I had just joined my company, and honestly I was a little embarrassed as there were so many coding practices that I didn't do back then. Let's get straight into the video. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is formatting, which might sound so straightforward, but it honestly amazes me how much production code I have seen that is poorly formatted. Now, of course, formatting is purely for the aesthetics and doesn't actually impact the results of your code, but it will make your code so much easier to debug as well as hand over to other people. Here are some of the things that I always do in my own code that I think make a huge impact to readability. So I will always have one item per line. Now this can be one column in your select statement or one where condition. As you can see, this just makes the code so much easier to follow compared to this. I also like to add commas at the start of every new line in your select statement, as opposed to at the end. This way all my commas are going to be aligned, and again it makes the code easier to digest. And lastly, I indent so that everything aligns. Take a look at these two examples. Which piece of code do you personally find easier to read? In the end, whatever your choice is regarding formatting, just try your best to be consistent and have your code as easily followed as possible. Your future self will thank you. My second tip is to use CTEs, which are common table expressions, instead of using subqueries. So a subquery is when you use a select statement inside of another select statement, like this example on the screen. Now, it's not so bad if the query is really simple, but if you're writing or debugging a very complex script, then subqueries can get really messy and confusing to follow. So instead, you should be using CTEs, which is basically a temporary table generated from a particular query. You might often see it at the top of every script, written like this. Now, not only do CTEs make your code easier to read and debug, it also uses less CPU to execute, as you only have to run the query through once. Then you can store it in memory and just continue to reuse the output as required. My third tip is to look into window functions if you haven't already. Now, this might sound really complex, but it is actually really simple. So what the window function lets you do is keep all the original rows of your dataset, but also add in additional columns which aggregate over the entire dataset. So let's put it into practice now and have a look. So for example here, we're using one line of code with rank and order by to create ranking as a separate column in our dataset. Pretty straightforward, right? Another common function is using lag and lead, which allows you to work with consecutive rows in your dataset. So lag looks at the previous row and lead looks at the next row, which is particularly useful for when you are looking at time series data or asked to calculate any running differences between 2 months. Now, this brings me to talk about today's sponsor, LearnSQL.com. If you are looking to sharpen your SQL skills, this is an online platform that is dedicated to explaining SQL concepts via their range of interactive courses. No matter where you are in your SQL journey, there will always be something for you. They have courses ranging from basic to advanced levels, as well as monthly practice sets if you are after a quick refresher. In my opinion, writing code is the best way to learn. After all, practice really does make perfect. All the concepts that I've covered off above regarding window functions are explored in depth through their courses, along with many more challenging topics, for example, recursive queries and indexes. I highly recommend that you check out their platform, as every exercise is based on real-world applications and it really does cut straight through to the chase with very little theoretical fluff. I genuinely think that this is a great resource for anyone looking to build a deeper understanding of SQL. Feel free to check them out using the link in my description box below, and onto the rest of my video. My fourth and final tip is to sense check your code and output every single step of the way. Trust me, there is nothing worse than getting to the very end of your script just to realize you joined on the wrong variable in the very first command, and to have all your important columns missing. Here are some things that I like to do to avoid this. With every intermediate table that I am creating, I will normally check count star to get the number of records, as well as count distinct by my primary key. Ideally, these two numbers should be identical if I'm expecting a one-to-one match. But if I'm seeing something unexpected, then clearly something is wrong. And when this happens, I will use a combination of group by and having to try and identify where the duplicates are and further investigate. Also, don't be afraid to run intermediate tables just to sense check your output. Sometimes it's worth even picking a few examples just to spot check that your code is performing as expected. I am definitely guilty of adding select distinct to try and remove duplicates without spending time and fully understanding my data and my joins. This is something that I'm working on, but please try and avoid doing this, as you should always be able to explain why there are duplicates in your data. If not, there could be something wrong with your code, or you could be missing a piece of valuable information. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I hope you learned something from this. As always, feel free to let me know down in the comments below if you have any tips and tricks that you would like to share. Thanks again to LearnSQL.com for sponsoring today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!